Imagine waking up every morning with a clear plan, a sense of purpose, and a confidence that you'll tackle the day with ease. Sounds amazing, right? But the harsh reality is that most of us struggle to stay consistent, and it's not just about willpower. We've all been there, feeling motivated one day, only to falter the next. But what's behind this cycle of inconsistency? The problem lies in our brain's tendency to prioritize short-term gains over long-term goals. Think about it. When was the last time you put off a task or made a decision that seemed appealing in the short term, only to regret it later? Maybe you procrastinated on a project because it seemed too daunting, or maybe you gave in to temptation and skipped a workout because it was more fun to stay in bed. Whatever the reason, our brains are wired to focus on instant gratification, rather than the long-term benefits of our actions. This is because our brains are constantly weighing the pros and cons of every decision we make. And when it comes to consistency, our brains tend to favor the easy option, the one that gives us an immediate sense of pleasure or relaxation. It's a natural response, really. But the problem is that this short-term thinking can have long-term consequences. When we focus on instant gratification, we often sacrifice our long-term goals and values. But our environment and habits also play a significant role in sabotaging our consistency. Think about your daily routine. Do you find yourself doing the same things over and over, without even thinking about it? Maybe you always order takeout for dinner, or always watch TV before bed. These habits may seem harmless, but they can actually be holding you back from achieving your goals. When we're stuck in a routine, we are less likely to take risks and try new things, and that's exactly what we need to do if we want to stay consistent. Take, for example, the story of a friend who wanted to start a new exercise routine. She was determined to go to the gym every morning, but every day she would wake up and hit the snooze button, telling herself she'd go later. But the later never came. Instead, she found herself stuck in a cycle of guilt and shame, feeling like she was failing at her goal. It wasn't until she changed her environment, by signing up for a gym membership and committing to a specific workout schedule, that she was able to break free from the cycle and start making progress toward her goal. But what if I told you that there's a secret to breaking free from this cycle of inconsistency? It's not about willpower, and it's not about changing your environment. It's about understanding the underlying patterns that drive your behavior, and using that knowledge to create new habits and routines that support your goals. This is where the concept of implementation intentions comes in. Developed by psychologists Gollwitzer and Sheeran, implementation intentions involve specifying when and where you'll perform a particular task or behavior. It's a simple but powerful strategy that can help you overcome procrastination and stay consistent. For example, let's say you want to start a new exercise routine. Rather than simply telling yourself you'll go to the gym, you specify exactly when and where you'll go, e.g., I'll go to the gym at 6 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This creates a clear plan and a sense of accountability, making it more likely that you'll follow through on your commitment. But implementation intentions aren't just about exercise. They can be applied to any area of your life. Want to start a new project at work? Specify exactly when and where you'll work on it. Want to eat healthier? Plan out your meals for the week and stick to your grocery list. The possibilities are endless. So, how can you start applying implementation intentions to your own life? The first step is to identify the specific behaviors or habits you want to change. What are the areas of your life where you struggle with consistency? Once you've identified these areas, start specifying when and where you'll perform the desired behaviors. Be as specific as possible. The more detailed your plan, the more effective it will be. The next step is to create an environment that supports your new habits. This might involve setting up a dedicated workspace, creating a schedule, or even just keeping a journal to track your progress. The key is to remove any obstacles that might get in the way of your goals and create a system that helps you stay on track. Finally, don't be too hard on yourself when you slip up. Remember that consistency is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. It's okay to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. The important thing is to learn from your mistakes and use them as opportunities to improve. So, what do you say? Are you ready to break free from the cycle of inconsistency and start achieving your goals? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to share your own tips and strategies for staying consistent in the comments as well. Welcome to the fascinating world of habit formation, where the right strategies can supercharge your consistency. You see, most of us think that staying consistent is just about grit and determination. But the truth is, it's a complex interplay of psychological, emotional, and neurological factors. And the good news is that once you understand how these factors interact, you can unlock the secret to making consistency a sustainable part of your daily life. Let's start with the habit loop, a simple yet powerful framework that explains how habits are formed. It's made up of three essential components: cue, routine, and reward. The cue is the trigger that sets off the habit loop, the routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is the payoff or benefit that you get from completing the routine. For example, let's say your cue is waking up in the morning, your routine is brushing your teeth, and your reward is the feeling of freshness and confidence that comes with it. The key to forming lasting habits is to understand this loop and how it works. By identifying your cues, routines, and rewards, you can create a customized habit loop that works for you. And the beauty of this framework is that it's not just limited to physical habits like exercise or eating. You can apply it to mental habits like meditation or learning a new skill. Now, let's talk about implementation intentions, a powerful strategy that can make all the difference in your consistency. It's simple. Instead of just setting a goal, you specify when and where you'll take action. For example, instead of saying "I'll exercise more," you say "I'll exercise at 7 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday." By doing so, you're creating a clear plan and setting yourself up for success. But what's even more fascinating is the role that identity plays in habit formation. You see, your self-image is a powerful influence on your behavior. When you identify yourself as someone who exercises regularly, you're more likely to follow through on that commitment. Conversely, if you identify yourself as someone who's too busy or lazy, you'll be more likely to procrastinate. The good news is that you can change your self-image by adopting new habits and behaviors that align with your desired identity. Here's a surprising example of how identity affects habit formation. A study found that college students who identify themselves as athletes were more likely to engage in physical activity, even if they weren't naturally athletic. It's because they saw themselves as someone who valued fitness and health. By adopting this identity, they were able to overcome their initial reluctance and develop a consistent exercise routine. So, how can you apply these insights to your own life? Start by identifying your cues, routines, and rewards. Create a customized habit loop that works for you. And most importantly, adopt a new identity that aligns with your goals and values. By doing so, you'll be able to tap into the power of habit formation and make consistency a sustainable part of your daily life. Remember, it's not just about willpower. It's about understanding the complex interplay of psychological, emotional, and neurological factors that drive your behavior. Imagine having the confidence to take on any challenge, knowing that you'll follow through on your commitments. It's a feeling that's hard to put into words, but it's one that millions of people around the world are desperate to experience. They want to be the kind of person who can stick to their goals, no matter what life throws their way. The truth is, it all starts with mindset. Your self-talk, your attitude, and your expectations all play a huge role in determining whether you'll follow through on your commitments or give up at the first sign of trouble. When you're convinced that you'll succeed, you're more likely to take action, and when you're convinced that you'll fail, you're more likely to procrastinate. But here's the thing, having a positive mindset isn't just about being optimistic or enthusiastic. It's about being realistic and honest with yourself. When you set unrealistic goals or expect to achieve them overnight, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration. On the other hand, when you set achievable goals and celebrate your small wins along the way, you're more likely to build momentum and stay on track. One of the most powerful tools for building a positive mindset is accountability. When you have someone to report to, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a family member, you're more likely to stay on track and follow through on your commitments. This is because accountability creates a sense of responsibility and ownership, which can be a powerful motivator. But accountability isn't just about having someone to report to. It's also about creating a clear plan of action and tracking your progress. When you have a clear plan and a way to measure your progress, you're more likely to stay focused and motivated, even when the going gets tough. And that's exactly what we are going to explore in the next section. The mindset shift that takes you from good intentions to a clear plan of action, and how this shift can transform your consistency.